Right now.
I'm almost there.
That's all right. Take your time. Relax.
The readers.
6 p.m. on the dot.
I buy them on Amazon. Cheaper on Amazon. Then they get two in back and that's get wrong with that.
The girl, I have the car, girls used to, I think on their Facebook channels. So it doesn't erase, like there's not a moment of that, like they're into that fabric, it doesn't have on it. That's what I originally did in the car, that's why they have a film of some flavor on it, but yeah, just.
Makes sense. Oh. They're horrible. That bad.
Welcome. Thank you for coming this evening. Is the usual part of our agenda is we open the floor before we start our regularly scheduled agenda. And I know Jason called me during the week and I see a number of folks here present. And so I'm going to ask them to come up and address the board. But for the most part, this is a acknowledgement of the effort and the dedication that our counselor Karen Doctor has put into the emergency services in the fire department. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the agencies. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ed, for allowing us to speak, and good evening to the board. And we wanted to take this opportunity as Karen wraps up her term on the board to publicly and formally thank her for her efforts to resurrect the Emergency Services Committee that has been very active under her watch, and as she likes to call it, the Hands Across the Sea Committee. So she's the HATS group, and she's done a great deal of work to improve dialogue and communication between the departments and between the departments in the town and the village and the fire district. So we wanted to take just a brief moment to recognize that and make a brief presentation to her. Karen, if you could join us. We knew this was risky.
He knows me. Excuse me, right there. We can fire upstairs. Okay, I can do this.
We'll just add, we couldn't be prouder. She's done a great job.
So Karen, on behalf of all three town fire departments, Syracuse, DeWitt, and Janesville, I'd like you to present this to you. It's honorary chief.
That means you're gonna start showing up, man.
Paper up on the way out.
All right, you gotta go. George?
I'm gonna take a quick picture. Karen, if you don't mind.
Hang on. He's gonna keep it. You're right along.
Yeah, get-
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, it's
Front and center. Thank you.
That's great.
Great guy. Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're the ones who deserve the honor for coming. We have our meetings, it's supposed to be every quarter, but this bunch insisted on having a meeting every month, so we have a meeting every month. And they get things done. So on behalf of all of you, thank you, and I thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like Cowardly Lions, that's what I'm speechless.
Thank you all again.
Lorraine, Jerry, you guys, paramedic folks, thank you.
Again, thank you. All right, as is our typical board meeting, is there anyone here that has an issue, a question, or a concern that they would like to raise with this board that is not on tonight's agenda?
Got distracted. I'm sorry.
No.
I heard what you said, but I didn't listen. Sorry.
Can you, will the microphone pick me up from here?
Yes.
It will, okay. My name is Peter Svoboda. I am a resident of DeWitt. Before Shopping Town closed, I had a 4,000 square foot space called CNY Arts. And we had 350 people involved. They were visual artists, jewelry makers, and craft makers. I was one of the last people to leave the mall. I hope then when the new mall gets built that I will be able to, in some way, I have a different vision for what I would like to see happen there. But that's not why I'm here tonight. Why I'm here tonight, well, I should tell you that I resurfaced. And now I have a 3,000 square foot space at 400 Burnett Ave. And we are doing something totally different. I had started a 501c3 charitable organization. And we have received over the last year and a half accolades and significant press coverage, including everything from the Daily Orange to a spot on Spectrum to accolades from CNY Central for things we are doing. But the real reason I'm here tonight is that Onondaga County has received $500,000 to be put towards murals in all the other, in any municipality in central New York. But the application has to be put through a municipality such as the city of Syracuse or the town of DeWitt. We have some really interesting ideas. I just want to let you know that the clock kind of already sort of ran out, but it didn't, because they've actually only given out a little bit of the money. The money will probably have to be completely allocated and committed. We're not sure by sometime in 2024. Murals can be put on any public building or any private building, and this is what I want to let you know, is that even if the building was 6 stories high and had windows, you can still put in a great mural there. So what I'm here tonight to say is that if any of the, and if you know of a private building or a public building where some sort of mural could be put that might reflect in DeWitt something that was pertinent to DeWitt, we would be glad. My 501c3, which is called Pinnacle International Center, would be glad to submit something. My name is Peter Svoboda. My 501c3 is Pinnacle International Center. Our office is in the Southside Innovation Center. Our exhibit space is at 400 Burnett. I'm going to give you each a bookmark that I designed so that you will have my contact information and also so that you can use it when you're reading books at night. Okay. I like to move on things as quickly as possible. I'm going to give you some contact information for myself. And I'd like to have somebody here that I can work with to see if we can get some money for the town of DeWitt.
There was an announcement out a while ago, and I think the deadline just went in, and now I'm unaware of this Onondaga County money, but I thought that there is that the source? Was that?
I spoke to them this morning. I spoke to CNY Arts this morning.
Yes, CNY Arts.
In charge of that grant.
We were looking at that and we just ran out of time. We didn't have
Here's the thing. The deadline has been extended.
That's good to hear.
Okay.
Right.
And only a little bit of the money has been given out.
I had my staff at the Onondaga Environmental Institute looking into this because for DeWitt at the time, we did the fish sculpture on 173. We did the mural down at Walton Street for the salmon. No, it's
I'm not complaining.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, but we were looking at this and unfortunately, we just had too many irons in a fire and we couldn't get it in on time. When was the deadline extended to?
They don't know. They don't.
I will get with you. I have your contact information. I will
I
get,
shall give you all a bookmark.
yes, all right.
All right.
And we'll resurrect this stuff. I
Doing a great job there.
Thanks.
do, grants all the time and we just,
No problem. We have, our role might be in the design function.
yeah.
We've been pretty good at that. Thank you, thank you.
Peter.
Right. We've been pretty good at that, so
Well, I'm glad you showed up and I'm,
should I give you a call or what?
yes, yeah, yeah, you could take my number, but
I have it.
yeah, okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
All right.
But yeah, I just wanted you aware we were trying to work on this and we just ran up
Well,
against it.
You know, if you go to Europe, places like Czechoslovakia, in 1 square kilometer, there were 2,000 pieces of art.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do some of that here.
We got,
Thanks.
we got room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll
Supervisor Mike Blanco,
here.
Councilors Robichaud,
Here.
Cleveland. Here. Julie.
Here.
Doctor. Here. Lorenzo.
Here.
And Mannion.
Present.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone here that is waiting for a particular agenda item? Okay, because in the past, I've run through the agenda and someone will be sitting there for one item and it's 10 o'clock at night. And then I feel so bad that they waited and I could have moved it up on the agenda. So, all right, we'll just run through in order here then. Authorization to post for a court clerk. We recently had a court clerk who took a position in the police department. So now we have an opening in the court's office. So any explanation or further? All right, then I'll entertain a motion from Jack, a second from Sarah. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Authorization to post for a deputy town clerk. Do you want-
Yes, I am looking for a second deputy town clerk. To not only fill the roles with the clerk's office, but we are also gonna be taking on planning and zoning and recreation fees. So I'm hoping that person does double duty. Esme is there right now. But she's not a town resident, so I can't put her into that deputy town clerk role.
So for those of you just witnessing the meeting, we have a combined tax receiver and town clerk's offices. And we are looking to consolidate all the money collections within all the offices at the town of DeWitt. Currently, we collect recreation fees through the recreation department and we collect building permit fees for homeowners and for businesses and planning board fees through the offices of planning and zoning. Starting in January of 2024, there's a movement to transition where the actual bills or receipts for those offices will be prepared in those offices, but then someone will be given the paper documentation or electronic documentation and actually have to make the payment through the clerk's office. This has long been a state recommendation from our audit perspectives, and so the collection of funds will all occur in one office, and the other offices will serve as a check and balance to that collections. And so in order to do that, we need to increase the staff in that office. I'll entertain a motion to authorize. from Karen and a second from Joe. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Okay, approval of the town board minutes from November 27th.
I have two comments. I don't know if it was past you that do it is spelled incorrectly under the, no, that was an easy one, yeah, under the bingo local law. And then, for all of the new hires, you had start dates except for the water laborer.
Yes, because I think he's already employed.
Okay, all right, it's really not.
There was not, there wasn't
Didn't know
one,
when he was gonna start, yeah,
yeah,
Okay,
wasn't sure.
so that's,
okay, and then Max did make two corrections, the last two motions were actually both first by Max, and one was Sarah, and the other one was Karen, so I made that correction.
thank you.
So again, we approve the minutes, which are a written record of the past meetings at the following or subsequent meetings. And so the board just made several corrections based on the minutes.
Check right under that button, I got a C.
That's-
Not very often. It's all right, pass, fail, you can change.
All legitimate corrections,
Yeah.
other than this.
Spelling the word. We call those computer assistant errors, probably substituted manliest. All right. Call for the vote. Do I have a motion in a second, right? No, I have a motion from Sarah and a second from Max. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Okay. Permit fund request 6118 Thunderhead.
I've got one permit, a refund request for 6118 Thunderhead, and I have one permit reduction request, 6808 Crossbow Drive. First one,
Handle them separately, right?
and I'm handling them separately, yes. First, we'll do the shed. Sharon brought this to me that she had done a permit for a shed that after the fact was too small to be permitted. So this is only 8x4, a 32 square foot shed. Shed's under 100 square feet, then the town doesn't charge a permit. And so I would ask the board to refund $239.36 to the property owner. Derek Kurtz of 6118 Thunderhead Lane.
I'll entertain a motion to return the fee from Counselor Mannion, second from Karen. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried.
Second one's a little larger scale, a little more complicated, but this is analogous to a permit reduction request we did for Cryomet last month. This permit in question for Mr. Podkaminer was stuck in that same window between fee schedule changes. And it was also a project over $1 million. So the sliding scale went into effect on this, or it didn't go into effect on this when it should have. So my calculations, I checked about 100 times here. That the total refund or the original permit was charged for $36,563.50. And it should have been charged under our fee schedule at $29,434. So the total refund for the board to approve or not is $7,129.50.
Okay. Any further discussion?
So just to confirm that if this project was to come forward to us today, the rate, the fee that they would owe would be the $29,434.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Max, a second from Jack. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain?
Go work done, we work done.
Motion's carried. Okay. The New York State Floodplain and Stormwater Managers Annual Fees.
Yeah, this is an email that came to me. Apparently, we are members of the New York State Floodplain and Stormwater Managers Association. The annual dues for that association are $100. I don't know a ton about this association, but I'm assuming you get updates on different floodplains and stormwater stuff going on in New York State. And again, that fee is $100 per year. Before I authorize staff to purchase it, I wanted to check with the board and get authorization.
Okay, yeah, had ran this back through and said it was okay with me, but I wanted to check with Rock and Doug. Did anybody check with Doug on this one?
No, Doug wasn't here today.
Doug said to me that he's okay with it. And it's
Okay,
very small
is it you,
cost.
is it useful? Is it something you make?
Didn't get that far with him. He just said we should do it. And I said,
Okay,
I'll tell the board.
so this is an association's fee. It's a professional society. We belong to the Central New York Regional Planning and Development Board. It's a coalition that deals with MS4s or stormwater runoff controls and
Doug does a lot of stormwater, so even one update that we get that impacts him makes it worth
Yeah.
$100.
okay. All right, so I will entertain an authorization to pay the $100,000.
100.
100.
What did I say?
100,000.
100.00. 100.00.
I have an excuse. I got here this morning. I haven't been home and I haven't eaten yet. All right, I will entertain a motion from Karen and a second from Jag for $100. Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain, motion's carried. All right. Okay, recommendation for the planning board zoning map, 6,800 East Genesee Street.
I sent the board this recommendation by email. At some point, the town board determined different zones of the town that they would like to have the mixed use overlay, which is section 192.64.4 of the code. And there's a map on our town website that denotes all of the overlay zones. So with the planning board, the 6,800 East Genesee Street, they are in one of those prescribed zones. It's across from Wegmans. I believe it's the old Trek and Racket Club across from Wegmans. And because they are already in that zone, what the board needs to do is officially amend our actual zoning map to put the overlay over that parcel. This would be the first that I think we've done for mixed use.
Yeah.
So the process for that, the board there's no action today. This is to make the board aware of the planning board recommendation. I have given the owner of this property, Andy Day, an application to fill out where he'll describe the use and the different characteristics of the property, and he'll also supply maps and surveys and everything else that the board might find relevant. I will submit all that to the board once that comes in, so you can all review. In the meantime, I'll be submitting all that to the county planning board, because any zoning change such as this has to go to SACWA for review. Now, the board doesn't have to act on this at all. You can either say yes or no, but you're not compelled to act on it. So when the board receives all these documents and they give a review and they determine that they do want to go forward, then we'd schedule a public hearing. Have the applicant come in and explain his project, answer any questions, and then the board could approve an official amendment of the zoning map. But that would be sometime in January.
And that's part of the process, the way we set the.
Yeah, that process I described is all in section 192-121 of our code. That talks about zoning map amendments. And I checked with Jamie Suffin about it too, and she said I'm on the right track.
Okay, so it's basically just an FYI for the board.
Yeah.
For those of you that are trying to grasp what we're doing here. A while back, the town passed what they call as a mixed use overlay law. And we took several business districts within the town. And we're allowing for the mixture of the business community and residential community together, so that the visual of that type of development is more like an Armory Square or a Village of Casanova or a Village of Skaneateles. But if you look at the business districts in DeWitt, Genesee Street, Erie Boulevard, I have a series of boxes of businesses, and then nearby there are neighborhoods. Well, the marketplace and the preferences of homeowners and people are more towards an integrated, walkable and sustainable community. And so we have these overlay districts, and we're encouraging the business community to incorporate residential apartments and living spaces and even homes or condominiums above the business community, so that let's say 30, 50 years from now, Erie Boulevard and Genesee Street and Calmer and Court Street and Thompson Road will look more like an urban streetscape than they do today. So hopefully. All right, so there's no action required. And once the developer comes back with plans, this board will have to make a yay or nay approval of that development.
I have one more, I think you speak about.
Yeah.
The hotel. Is that
Yeah, the most important one.
Yeah. So I sent this draft to the board of our new legislation for our hotel room occupancy tax. I would request that the board do a special board meeting so that we can pass this before the end of the year. I took this from another town, and so I did not go outside the lines of what other people have already done. We can always amend this later on if something comes up, but I feel good enough that other towns are doing this, and this is analogous with what the county is doing, but there's just different positions in the county, so it didn't exactly match what we're doing here. So I need at least 10 days for the board to receive this. So tomorrow I would put this in each board member's mailbox as a final copy. And then I need 10 days. So the earliest I can do is, we could do a special board meeting to pass this would be December 22nd. Now it's uncomfortably close to Christmas and it's a Friday, but I think Angela and I have been talking too. We'd like to make sure we get it and send it to the state and make sure they receive it before the 31st. And
Okay, Cratchit.
Yeah.
We're all working Christmas. Oh, so we need to schedule that meeting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, morning, afternoon, what's best for the 22nd?
How about the morning of the 22nd?
I agree. Out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's get it over with
Okay,
pleasantly.
all right.
Time would you like, folks? 9?
Yes.
Actually, a little later is better for me. It's the one day of the week I put my granddaughter on the bus.
10?
Yeah, 9:30, safe, 10,
Either one's fine.
yeah, 9:30.
Do we need to set a public hearing as well, Matt, for that? Do we need to set a meeting and set a public hearing?
That's right. Yes.
No, I can come on this day.
And so will the process be involved where we cannot start the fee schedule prior to January 1st?
No, we want to start on January 1st, but we need to
Right.
pass this law first. So in the meantime, I'll be working with Carrie to get letters out and to follow up with all the hotels before the end of the year.
But the public hearing will be scheduled for the
Public
22nd.
hearing's on the
Yeah,
26th.
so we do the public hearing on the 22nd, and then come out of that and pass. the-
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, again, for what's going on, the town of DeWitt for years has contributed a large amount of hotel tax to Onondaga County. Onondaga County probably collects close to $11 million a year. And about a third of that comes out of the 28 hotels that are located in the town of DeWitt. For years, we've asked for some of those fees for recreational development of Carrier Park and for the hotel district itself. Most of our hotels are located around exit 35 on the thruway at Carrier Circle. And in between those hotels, it's very difficult for businesses to survive, but we've had restaurants come and go and entertainment venues and so on. And one of the difficulties is there's no sidewalks. And the town has always been looking to put sidewalks, street lighting, and take care of those sidewalks. And so we enacted our own hotel tax this past year. The state legislature approved a 2% hotel tax for DeWitt. We now need to pass a local law that will allow us to collect that 2% starting in January of 2024. So that's what this meeting is being set up for on December 22nd. If you have any questions, we can ask afterwards or something. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to set the public hearing for 9:30, Friday, December 22nd from Jack and a second from Karen. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstain, motion's carried. Okay, so that one,
There's motion to set the special board meeting.
To schedule the special board.
Oh,
meeting.
all right, I'll entertain a motion again from Jack and Karen again to set the special board meeting for 9:30, Friday, December 22nd. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay, thank you. Okay, you all have received the check registry
Yes.
of November 28th and November 29th. Do we need to approve each separate? Okay,
Do them all in one motion. I think that's fine to do them all in one motion, Matt.
How confident are you?
Very confident.
Okay.
I also,
No, I don't think it's
before
a-
you make that motion, Carrie handed out, one extra one that she did. I can pass around. It's for Altamont. What happened was they paid the Tomato water and escrow payment in one water payment check without really notifying that it was for two separate things. So Carrie had to refund the check and reissue, and the Altamont's gonna reissue it to planning and zoning.
do we need action on that?
That's just, you have to accept it and I'll pass that around.
It's part of the red.
Amendment to the register.
Yeah, so it'll be a December, I'll add December 6th on to it. For the check register warrant date.
Then we only need one motion.
Yeah, I'm positive.
That's all the checks up to this date.
Yeah,
Yes, okay, yeah.
yep, and I'll include the dates in the motion as well.
All right, I'll entertain a motion from Max, second from Joe. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Staying? Motion's carried. Okay, update.
That's me. I wanted to update everybody here as well as people on Zoom. I am part of the Critical Response Committee, which is organized by Captain Slater of the Manlius Police Department. And the speaker was Dr. Catherine Anderson. And she is our county medical examiner. And she spoke on the preparations or last minute gluing together of things for COVID, which began March 13th of 2020. And she gave a presentation on COVID-19 pandemic steps and preparations that they were able to do. And it's COVID-19 and beyond is how I titled her presentation. She said she welcomes hearing from the public for any questions that you may have. She said, because it may not be the exact COVID that we have originally made our way through. She says, but pandemics are coming. And these are some of the preparations that she recommends. And she gave us her email as KATHRYNANDERSON, Catherine Anderson @ongov.net, excuse me. And she says she welcomes questions and concerns of the public, and we should be able to be ready for the next one. And it's coming, she says. The second update that I had is to give an awful lot of hand clapping, et cetera, to our rec department, specifically Sandra Elsey and Shannon Schaaf and Elise, whose last name is eluding me now that I'm on camera. But in any event, they did a yeoman's job all by themselves of putting on our tree lighting, our holiday lighting this past Friday, I believe it was. Thursday, I am sorry. And Joe and Carrie and I were there. And it was the most coordinated that they were able to pull together. and it was excellent. And I wanted to give credit to Santa's helpers, who were our PM after-school program caregivers, who were Jalik, Hannah, Trinity, Evan, Sam, Yair, Giselle, Rochelle, and Paulina. And they made it work. So we had nobody was crying. We had Santa come on the fire engine. The whole thing was excellent. And they did a yeoman's job, and I needed to put that on the record.
And I just want to add the Parks Property Maintenance Group that put together the displays. As we all have noticed that most of the lights this year are new. But our displays and lighting was getting tired, and so it was a great job on top of it.
And the Grinch was there too. That was very important.
It's a great job. The place is what it's gonna long day.
Yeah, it was terrific.
Wonderful event, well attended. They did a
Great job.
Karen, I was there and you didn't mention me because I saw you singing with the rabbi, which you did a great job of singing.
Yes, well, there was that part too, which is probably why I didn't mention your name, Jack. I was singing, I looked out in the crowd and there's Jack. And Jack was there as well.
All right. Any other updates?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, I want to thank you all for coming. If you need a signature, you can approach the board. You picked the right time of year to come. Came before our budget season in October, November, you'd be here till 11 midnight. We're more entertaining than Monday Night Football during that season. But you guys timed it right. This is, the last two meetings have been the shortest in my 20-something years with the board, and I don't know how we're doing it.
Before we go, but I think Matt has to do a contract for Trinity and
I have it right here. Student public, that's not a.
I don't know if you're gonna do that.
We go into executive session for 3 reasons only, and the variety of topics. Personnel issues. It's not appropriate to talk about an individual or performance of an employee during a public session. Contracting issues or potential litigation. And those are the 3 issues. So,
This actually I could do right now.
okay, if this,
This is the Trinity Fellowship. We've been using the church for senior art class, Mondays, 9 AM to 3 PM.
oh,
This particular program started on September 1st of 2023, and it runs through December 31st, 2023. The cost for this session from September to December is $400 to the church. I was asked by Sandy to finalize this because the church has been asking about payment. So I'd like to finalize this for Sandy, get it signed by the church, and then we can pay them the $400. And I'm told that there will be another contract for the spring session, which I'll get done beforehand. So
okay.
that's it.
I'll entertain a motion to authorize my signature on the contract.
Yep.
Motion from Jack, a second from Karen. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, and the only other announcement I want to make is I want to make congratulations, and we can maybe reach out. I know there are sometimes we have connections to teams, other times we don't, but both the JD boys volleyball team and the CVA football team won state championships this year.
If you're interested, I'm happy to reach out to both schools and
Yeah,
see if the teams would like to come in for recognition.
absolutely. That'd be great. Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, with that, we'll enter a motion to go into executive session. Motion from Joe and a second from Sarah. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's gone. All right, again, thank you. If you need signatures, anyone on the board here